I mean, I was Josh Safdie's muse when he wrote Uncut Gems.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like things like that. Like
Drip, drip, sell her all the ship, ship. When he make it drip, drip, kiss him on her lip, lip. That's the kind of dude I was looking for. And yes, you'll get slapped if you're looking. I said, excuse me, you're a hell of a guy. I mean, my, you're like pelican fly. I mean, you're so shy, and I'm loving your tie. You're like slicker than the guy with the thing on his eye. Oh, yes I did. Somebody please tell him who the F I is. I am Nicki Minaj. I mack them dudes up.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the pod.
Hey guys, we're on the pod again, and you won't believe what I did last night.
What did you do?
I watched a movie last night, and it was crazy because it was literally a movie.
It was literally a movie? Last night was literally a movie?
Last night was actually literally a movie.
Oh, okay.
And it was a Safdie Bros movie, because today we're talking about the Safdie Bros movies.
Yes, we are going to go over Good Time, Uncut Gems, things like that. And then finally, this one isn't directed by the Safdies, but they did produce it, and it has their vibe going on. We've got funny pages to talk about for you guys.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to talk about these. There are some certified baddies in them. Yeah, let's just go for it. The first movie we're going to be talking about is Good Time. Let me tell you what. This watching this movie is a great time. Good time even.
Is it though?
No.
Okay.
I'm just trying to say something and make words. It is a crime thriller by the Bros about Robert Pattinson trying to get his mentally handicapped brother out of jail after landing him in jail. Are we spoiling right now?
Yeah, we'll spoil.
Okay. If you haven't watched this movie, go watch it because it's really good, and it has Robert Pattinson, and he's literally such a cutie.
Also, the spoilers don't even matter that much for this movie.
Yeah,
I feel like
I feel
they
like,
don't have effect.
Yeah,
like
the
Uncut
spoilers,
Gems, don't spoil that for
don't
yourself.
spoil Uncut Gems. But like, I feel like a lot of these movies, like, spoilers don't really matter because they're just like,
they're that good to where like you'll still feel like all the dramatic tension even if you know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, like I think Uncut. I'll get to it when we talk about it. This movie is really good, believe it or not. Let's talk about like the story of how it came to be.
Okay.
So I learned this from that one video essay that people are watching about the Safdie Bros.
You know what? We'll link it below.
Maybe if we remember.
And we will.
The Safdie Bros were writing the script for Uncut Gems when they got an email from Robert Pattinson himself, who was like, hey, I just saw like a screenshot from your movie. Make me a movie.
Was it Heaven Knows What?
I can't remember what it was from.
Also, we're not talking about Heaven Knows What. We're too broke to rent that.
Yeah, we're not renting that. So yeah, he emailed them, and then like weeks later, they were like, "Oh shit, Robert Pattinson emailed us." Okay, and then they just made Good Times for Robert Pattinson, and you can tell because like every single shot has Robert Pattinson in it.
It's cool. I love that they do that because in all their movies, not just Good Time, like all of them, all the characters are kind of like based on the actor. And I think that's such a smart way to do something. Like write a story around a person that you know that has like similar qualities to something you're interested in talking about. It just ends up coming out so much better because it's like actually based on that person and they can portray them like to their fullest.
Yeah, because it's like it's kind of like how you try and cast child actors. Like you write a movie that has a child and you don't look for a child who's good at acting. You look for a kid who's like is already just that person. And I feel like that's the best way to cast stuff because it's like now you don't have to have your actors going through these tremendous changes. You just like you have the person. They're standing in front of you.
Yeah.
Put a camera on them.
The most annoying thing is like the whole method acting and like abusive directors and stuff like that. It's just way too much.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit in our last episode
last episode.
No, 2 episodes ago now. The holidays episode with The Shining and Shelley Duvall. Like that's abusive. Don't do that. And like with all the people who lose a ton of weight for roles, like just cast a different person. And I think
Agreed.
this is the epitome that the Safdie bros are, because they find people who already are the people that they need.
Especially in Heaven Knows What, they'll even sometimes take people who have like no experience in acting. Actually, a lot of the time, besides like Adam Sandler, obviously, and Robert Pattinson, but a lot of the background people are just their friends or random people they meet. You know, so I think that's super cool.
Or not even in the case of Uncut Gems, it's not even normal people off the street. It's just famous people playing themselves.
Yeah,
Which is funny.
with their regular names too.
Yeah, but we'll get to that when we get there. The funniest thing about this movie being made for Robert Pattinson, I feel the Safdie bros know how to get their movie into like a ton of different like film festivals and awards shows. Because if you look at the like nominations that they have, it's massive. And Robert Pattinson was nominated for 14 different Best Actor awards. Guess how many he won?
0.
0. No awards. He won nothing for that.
I think it came out in 2017. A lot of good movies came out that year, to be fair. So
I know, but like 0 out of 14?
yeah,
He doesn't deserve that.
no, not at all.
He's
and
too
I'm not
hot.
insinuating that, but I mean, you know, he has a lot to compete with, and since it was a pretty early on movie for them, and they don't have that notoriety yet, that's probably the main reason.
I forgot a lot about this movie before I rewatched it for this video, and I wanted it to be wholesome so bad. For some reason, I remembered it being super wholesome. I think it's just because I chalked everything that happens up to Robert Pattinson trying to get his brother back. So in my mind, that's a wholesome concept for a story. It's like a story of like family and stuff, whatever, wholesome. This movie is not wholesome. Not wholesome at all whatsoever. And I wanted it to be so bad because like that kind of character type interaction is the same as the character interaction in The Living End. Two people who love each other in some form or another doing crimes for each other.
Something I would compare this to, I noticed this on this watch. I didn't notice it the first 2 times I watched this. Robert Pattinson's character, Connie, he reminds me so much of Vincent Gallo in Buffalo 66. I don't know. Is it Gallo? I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, if you guys have seen that movie, we're also considering doing like a Safdie adjacent movie list video kind of thing, just because everyone is craving a new Safdie Bros film. So we might do that. Comment below if you'd be interested. But yeah, his character is very similar. There's a lot of parallels, like with the underage girl, the doing crime, the mentally handicapped brother who he's like mean to at points, but also like really obviously cares for. And he's the type of character that you want to feel bad for, but like at the same time, you're like, he's a horrible person. And I think Robert Pattinson is definitely not as bad as Vincent Gallo in Buffalo 66, but
He's still like a horrible person.
yeah. Mhm.
And, you know, every single time that I wanted him to not be a horrible person because he's hot and I want this movie to be wholesome, he just undermines me, especially most prominently with that part when he goes into that lady's house and starts making out with her 16-year-old granddaughter.
Mhm.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all. It makes me very uncomfortable.
Mhm.
Like I want to. I all of my delusions about this being a wholesome movie were broken in that moment. Like, oh my god, I don't like it. I don't like it whatsoever.
I heard them talking about how they initially wanted this to be more of like a prison-based movie and just have like statements about the unfair application of justice, like in the legal system, like certain people getting different amounts of time for the same crimes or whatever.
Yeah,
and
that
then
makes sense.
they ended up making it more of like kind of a heist movie, like high tension, like running away from the cops type of movie.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess those themes still kind of leaked over a little bit in that part.
Also, I did like Benny's performance a lot in this too. I think that's really impressive that it was one of his earlier like attempts at acting, I guess. I don't know if he acted in any of the short films or not, but yeah, I thought he was really, really good in this, and I was impressed for sure because he's so different from that in real life, you know.
A funny observation that I had while doing research. So Connie, Constantine, and Nicholas are Russian. Like those are Russian names.
They both look Russian.
Yeah, and the Safdie bros are of Russian Jewish descent on their mother's side. So my conspiracy theory, this movie is autobiographical.
I don't know. Okay.
And the Safdie bros have done things in the past that they're not telling us. The Safdie bros are not who we think they are, guys.
Safdie bros, comment below if this is true.
Yeah, Safdie bros, we're levying allegations right now. We're levying allegations that you have Did they do murder in this movie? No.
No, but
You've done bank robbery.
we are also levying allegations that you should let us work on your movies.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, we're also levying those allegations. We'll retract our allegations if you let us work on the movie, and we won't call the cops for you robbing banks.
We're gonna get sued for defamation.
So yeah, that was good time. I had a good time talking about it. Did you?
I sure did, honestly.
Yeah, and now next up, I don't have a transition, so we're just going to be talking about
Uncut Gems,
things like that.
I mean, I was Josh Safdie's muse when he wrote Uncut Gems.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like things like
Right.
that. Like.
Uncut Gems is a 2019 crime thriller about Adam Sandler being, quite possibly, the shittiest person ever. He keeps acquiring precious items that could pay off his massive debt and, get him out of this trouble with, his debt collectors and his family. But instead of paying off his debt, he gambles. Of course, like a true addict. And this eventually costs him everything.
As we've been referencing, Julia Fox is in this movie, and we are absolutely obsessed with her performance here, and just everything that comes out of her mouth is like an uncut gem, if you will.
I wish so bad that I could just have her life from this movie, like her character's life. It seems so fun.
It does.
Like you're like
and she's having fun with it too.
You're like a front desk clerk for a diamond shop. And you can just like hang out and you watch all these famous people come in there and you just get to buddy up.
You
with
watch
like
them
all
buy
of them.
Furby
diamond
you
watch them buy
necklaces.
blinged out Furbies. Like that seems so fun. So speaking of Julia Fox, and like we were referencing earlier, there are people who just play themselves in this movie, and I think it's perfect.
Yeah, I don't know. She doesn't really act like that specifically, but there's definitely a huge part of her.
Yeah,
in that
she
role.
definitely. It's not a tremendous transformation from Julia Fox, but it doesn't need to be.
I do think that like she should be in other stuff.
I want to
like,
see her in other stuff so bad.
I want that really badly too, because I think she was genuinely good.
Yeah,
like very good.
So the other people who play themselves in this movie are famous basketball player Kevin Garnett. The Weeknd just plays The Weeknd. Was he like a super famous megastar when this movie filmed?
Yeah. That was
How
like,
did they get him on?
He was like, he had already come up by then.
That seems so crazy.
Yeah.
That he was just kind of like existing in this movie.
His performances were live too. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't even supposed to perform, but everyone in the crowd was like cheering him to
That's so
do
funny.
it.
They were just on set. At the end of the movie when Julia Fox is in the helicopter on her way to casino, that guy, Wayne Diamond is his name. He's a fashion designer in New York. He's playing himself.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Was his name Wayne?
Wayne Diamond, yeah.
Oh, okay. Love.
And then Julia Fox, her character's name isn't Julia Fox, actually. It's Giulia De Fiore. I'm assuming that's Italian or like French or something.
She looks Italian.
Yeah. And, yeah. It's slay. I think it's so fun. I think that's how I want to cast stuff. I think it'd be fun.
Very. I really like the tone here and the music and the cinematography. Like it's about the Diamond District in New York, and I think it just captures it so perfectly. And apparently they were hanging out with like real like jewelers there and like getting to know them, and that's kind of what they based all the writing off of and stuff, which is so much fun.
Yeah. I think one of the greatest pieces of this movie is Adam Sandler. Obviously, he's the main character, and he just brings everything together so nicely. He's such a good actor in this movie, and it's insane. But originally, he wasn't going to be on it. He was the first person that they sent the script to, but his like manager read the script, immediately just like threw it out, said he didn't want to do it. So do you know who they got to replace him?
No.
They got Jonah Hill to replace him for a little bit.
That's disgusting.
I know. But then, you know,
Adam Sandler saw a good time and then he wrote them back about it.
I guess. I don't really know how he got back on.
What happened.
Yeah. There was an article, but I didn't feel like reading it.
You're lazy.
I know.
Also, having Martin Scorsese executive produce your third feature
I
movie
know.
is insane.
Off your rocker.
Yeah. Bonkers.
Another person that was supposed to be in this but wasn't, Kobe Bryant was supposed to be there instead of KG.
Yeah.
Which
he didn't want to change his hair or something, so they ended up picking someone else.
What was wrong with his hair?
I don't know. I guess they wanted someone bald.
Okay. Whatever.
But I'm glad that they had KG. It was cool.
Yeah. Another fun fact about behind the scenes, The Weeknd recorded several tracks for this movie, but none of them made it onto the actual movie.
Why?
I have no idea, and I don't think they ever like talked about that, but they were later released on After Hours, his album.
I love After Hours.
I've never listened to it, so comment below if you like After Hours, if I should listen to it. Comment below and engage, and then also like the video while you're there, and subscribe a little.
Subscribe just a little, okay? And turn on the notifications a little too.
Maybe if you feel like it, quite possibly. Some of the writing of this movie, they Adam Sandler plays, I forgot what's his character's name?
Howard.
Howard is a Jewish diamond salesman, and that plays heavily into his character, and it also makes sense because the Safdie bros are Jewish, and they talked about how when they were writing him, they wrote him to be the most stereotypical person, and they wrote him to like lean into those stereotypes.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And they wrote it, they described it as he has Jewish superpowers. Like that's...
Didn't he say something like that in the movie?
He might have. I don't know. But like, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Like to be completely indulgent in what people already think of you to an extent that's like...
comical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. Is the character self-aware, do you think? Or no? Do you think just the writers are?
The writers are.
Yeah.
Howard is definitely not self-aware. The dialogue is so funny. Like, he just never stops talking no matter what type of situation he's in. I just love it.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. And also, I'm pretty sure Adam Sandler is actually like a huge basketball fan like that too. And like he plays basketball. The only reason I know that is because of Trisha Paytas. Sometimes she's obsessed with him.
Sometimes I forget that people are actually that obsessed with sports. Like I just don't understand it at all.
Me neither.
Like, especially because the movie shows that he was standing in the middle of his jewelry store and watched an entire basketball game start to finish with those guys locked up in there. I would be so bored.
Same.
I could not stand there for 5 minutes and watch a basketball game.
Same. And those guys, apparently during the filming, like I don't think most of them are experienced actors, but they're like, they actually beat him up in the movie. And like,
wait, they actually beat up Adam Sandler?
Yeah, he had like bruises and stuff because apparently they're like really good at fighting and they just don't like know their own strength or something.
That's so funny.
And he was like, one of the guys was obsessed with him and he was like, I love you, Adam Sandler. And then he was like quoting his movies. And then like in the next scene, he was like actually choking him and he had to tap out. And then he was like, I thought you, or he like quoted his own movie or something like that. He was like, wait, I'm this guy or something like that.
That's so funny. Oh my God, Adam Sandler, I love you so much, holding a gun to your head.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you. Mm-hmm. This movie is about, it centers around this gem, this black opal that Adam Sandler retrieves illegally from some miners in I can't remember exactly where, but by this mining company who has like all these African Jews go do their mining and get the gem, and then Adam buys it from them and tries to sell it off for a massive profit. What do you think about that kind of subtle conflict there between these African Jews and Adam Sandler's American Jew?
What do you mean?
Well, like, I feel like it's a...
You're asking if I think it's like a statement or something, or like they're trying to say something?
Like, if it's characterization of Adam Sandler as hypocritical, so where he's like, he's exploiting himself, the character is leaning into himself as this Jewish person, and he's taking a lot of pride in that, and then turning his head to the fact that he's exploiting other Jewish people. Do you think it's just to characterize that, or it's to kind of characterize the like it's a more social commentary on how white people still continue to like profit off of the exploitation of non-white people?
Well, I mean, I think it can be both at the same time because they are black and they are Jewish. So it's both, I think.
Yeah. I feel like the Safdie bros have a lot of have like subtle statements in their movies, which is, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I really like this like kind of new wave of like subtle making fun of America movies by like satirizing like just seemingly normal people that we meet every day.
Yeah, because there's a lot more overt making fun of America movies, but it's like making fun of them in annoying ways, like Don't Look Up. Like that's making fun of America in the most annoying way possible. But this movie is making fun of it in a very realistic and personal way.
Yeah.
To where like Adam Sandler, like I believe that's a human being in New York, even though he's like very exaggerated and kind of crazy. Like I still believe
there's some
that.
It's New York. There's some exaggerated crazy jewelers there in New York.
They really emphasize that at the end by casting Wayne Diamond, just a real person, to play that completely absurd character.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate their kind of unique form of critique on things. This is the most stressful movie ever. It by far.
Out of these three, definitely.
No, out of all movies ever, I think.
Do you think this or Shiva Baby is more stressful?
I think this movie is more stressful because like Shiva Baby is like super stressful craft wise, but this movie is more stressful craft and like actual stakes wise. Because this movie has hundreds of thousands of dollars stakes, where Shiva Baby just has heavy embarrassment stakes.
Yeah.
So I think, this is the most stressful movie ever. And no matter how many times I watch it, it's still the most stressful movie ever. Like the only reason I was able to get through it this last time is because I was only half paying attention to it. But it's so stressful. So stressful. I can't stand it.
The music definitely adds to the stress.
Yeah.
Very good. Very well done.
The music is very good. I'm pretty sure it won some awards for music. So yeah, this is the most stressful movie alive, especially because it's about like the worst possible person alive getting into just worse and worse scenarios. You know, in Good Time and Uncut Gems, completely inexcusable. These are awful people doing just stupid and not good things. But in the next movie, it's still about a pretty annoying person, but it's not as awful because the next movie is about a teenager, a stupid little high school kid. The next movie is Funny Pages. Funny Pages is a 2022 black comedy written and directed by Owen Klein about a kid who just hates the suburbs, don't we all, and loves comics and wants to make his own. After a fight with his parents, he drops out of high school and moves to the city to try and make it on his own. So this movie, as we stated earlier, is not by the Safdies. They're producers on it, but their influence is deeply felt throughout this movie.
And Owen Klein, this is his debut feature.
Yeah, very impressive. It's really good. I enjoyed it a lot, even though it made me very stressful.
And like you said, the vibes, the Safdie vibes are there. And let me tell you, the vibes are grotesque on this movie.
They are disgusting.
This is the disgustingest vibes out of all these three.
So gross.
Yes. Yeah, it's kind of making fun of like the spoiled kid who thinks he knows everything about the world and is kind of like pretentious and annoying with all his friends and is just rude to everyone around him. Very self-important, but it's funny at the same time.
I'm so glad that I'm not like that.
Oh, you're not?
No.
Okay.
I'm better.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm better than this little twerp. So this movie is a bit of a coming of age story about this kid because like he obviously 16, he's a little twerp. And so yeah, that makes it a bit more redeemable. I really hope with whatever the Safdie bros do next, they have at least one wholesome bit.
Wholesome? Why?
Because I cannot take this amount of stress. Good Time was very stressful. Uncut Gems was more stressful. And if they continue on this trend, I think I might just explode while watching it. Like, I don't know if I can take more stress than Uncut Gems. So I'm glad that this movie may influence them a little to try and not be that as stressful and be about like a more wholesome person. Because even though he's still a pretty, annoying kid, at least he's still a child, and at least I can write off all of his actions as being a dumb, stupid child.
This one is the most slice of lifey, I think, because the other two are very high stakes, very, very individual characters that we don't like. It's just not as much of a normal story.
Yeah, the other two are like a very contained, like specific and driven narrative, whereas this one is a lot more like some kid has no idea what he's about to do, and then it's just telling a story about him and all the weird, wacky characters he meets.
Yeah, I love, let me see what his name is. I think his name is Wallace.
He's so funny.
Wallace is so funny. And the line delivery on this movie.
Oh my God, when he's talking about the pharmacist.
Let me see. I have the quote pulled up right now.
We have it written down. But basically, Wallace is, he's in trouble for assaulting a pharmacist. And this kid is working for the lawyer who's trying to get him out of this. And he says the funniest thing ever.
Richard is a very, very sick man with very twisted ideas about how a pharmacy operates.
Which I really want to know. I believe him.
Okay, well, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to shoot me?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, one thing about me, Richard has no idea how to run a pharmacy.
Yeah.
And, Wallace knows this more than anyone else. Wallace deserves freedom.
Wallace is the high authority.
Free my boy Wallace.
Wallace is the high authority on pharmacies.
This. Exactly.
He gets the final word when it comes to a pharmacy.
So yeah, Richard should be, I don't know, fired. Get his medical license revoked, maybe. Because,
possibly,
you wronged Wallace, obviously. So why are you still in business? So continuing on my trend of making up stories about characters that have like nothing to do with the actual thing, or maybe a little. There's a character in this movie named Miles. He's the main character's best friend. And that's gay. He's gay. Like, there's no way around it. Miles is gay.
I didn't notice it the first time, but when you brought it up when we were watching it, I get it.
There are so many. He's obsessed with this annoying little child.
And he goes up to remember the part where he was like, "You always stand too close."
I'm getting there. There's a bit where the kid is like leaving high school, cleaning out his locker, and Miles goes in there to see what he has in his locker. And he gets very close to him, like extremely close. And then the guy says, the little kid says, "You always get too close to me." That's gay. There's a reason why he's that close to you. And it's because he wants his lips close to yours.
Okay. I can agree with that.
And then later, I'm still talking. Later, after the kid leaves... he's walking out of the high school. Miles is standing on the front steps. And, the kid's walking away. And instead of Miles just turning around and going back to class, Miles gazes longingly out across the lawn of this high school at his love walking away from him into the big city. And it's very romantic. And no one seems to acknowledge it.
What's the quote from Velvet Goldmine? It's crazy how beautiful people look when they're walking out the door.
Exactly. That's literally this movie. That's literally what happens right there.
Yeah, the guy who played Robert did a really good job too. Everyone's just so good in this movie. Their line delivery, A1, perfection.
What do you think about the opening of this movie?
Very interesting. I liked it though.
Silly and goofy. The opening of this movie. Are we spoiling?
Yeah, you can say.
The opening of this movie involves the kid's art teacher, Robert, right? That's his name?
The main kid, yeah.
Yeah. Robert's art teacher trying to give him an art lesson, saying, you need to learn how to do figure drawing. So I'm going to get up on my desk, and I'm going to strip naked, balls and all, and you're going to draw me.
Oh, guys, comment down below if you want us to do a video on Bones and All.
Yeah, comment down below.
Because we're kind of haters.
Yeah,
but
we have big opinions on it.
Let us know if you want to hear us hate on an episode.
But yeah, the teacher drops trowel, balls and all. And then Robert's like gets uncomfortable. Obviously, his balls are hanging out, and so he runs away. And as he's walking away, the teacher driving down the road trying to be like, hey, let me give you a ride to your
Please, let me give you a ride. Please.
Gets stabbed.
Stabbed?
Not stabbed. He gets into a car crash and then something like impales him or something.
Okay.
Which is very jarring to see this like grown man just balls out for a 16-year-old child.
Definitely alarming vision.
Yeah, alarming male behavior. Not surprising, though. Yeah, that's all the opinions I have.
Same. That's all we have for you guys today.
Thank you for watching. Tune in next week where we're going to be talking about something different, something a little different. It's not going to be music. It's not going to be TV shows. It's not going to be movies. It's going to be something a bit out there, a bit out of our comfort zone a little. So tune in. It's going to be exciting. Make sure to
hit the bell.
Hit the bell.
Subscribe. Hit the like.
Subscribe.
Hit the share button even.
Yeah, share this with your grandpa. With your
uncle.
Yeah, with your uncle. Have a good watch with your uncle.
Bye guys.